Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to continue my video series on how to use a Samsung J3 Orbit smartphone by showing you how to use the calendar feature. Okay, this is the smartphone in question. Now, before I begin, I wanted to let you know, as you have been watching this video series, that if you'll take a look at the top of the video, you will see at some point a card up there. If you click those cards, you'll be taken from one video to the next, to the next, to the next. And eventually this video will also have a card, and you'll click it and it'll take you to the next video. Okay, it won't have one tonight, but it will have one finally when I post the next video in this series, and then you'll be able to click it and you'll be able to go to the next one. Okay. Also, a lot of my videos have little end cards. Okay, they will show up at the end of the video, and you can click those and you can go from one episode to the next. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, the symbol for the calendar feature on your phone. Okay, the calendar feature that you'll find on your smartphone. And by the way, before I go any further, I wanted to tell you that there will be illustrations throughout this video. There will be actual photos from my phone. I have taken screenshots of my phone to show you guys everything I'm trying to tell you here. So you will probably see those photos from one moment to the next. If you need to, you can pause the video and see the photo for yourself and study it, and then you can look at your phone and work with it that way. Okay? The symbol for the calendar, it will look like a castle. Okay, it'll look like a castle wall. Alright? It'll actually look like a rook that you will find in chess. Okay? And that symbol will be inside a dark green button. Okay? And you'll probably see on your screen right now a photo of this, and I have a yellow arrow pointing to that symbol. If you're seeing it, I want you to go ahead and tap it. Okay? When you do, you will see a typical calendar. Now you say, well, that shows me the current month. What about next month or the next month after that? If you want to see all the months afterwards, you're going to swipe to the left, swipe to the left, swipe to the left. If you want to see months that came before this month, you would swipe to the right, swipe to the right. Okay? That's something you should be quite used to when you're doing a smartphone. Okay. Now, let's suppose you scheduled a medical appointment. Can your smartphone remind you of your medical appointment? Well, of course it can. Now, how can you store the appointment information that you need to store on your smartphone? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay? The first thing you would do is tap the day of the appointment on the calendar. So, if you want to do this right now, tap any day that's on that calendar, and as soon as you do, you're going to see another screen. Okay? Now, your smartphone will think you're scheduling an event. That's why it says the name of the event. Okay? That right on the top it says name of the event. Okay? So it's thinking you're scheduling an event. Now, if you really are scheduling an event like an anniversary or a birthday or Christmas or 4th of July festivities, something, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can type that in there as well. Maybe you're just having a regular old party. Maybe you're going to a concert. You can say, okay, on this particular day I'm going to a concert and I need to remember because I don't want to lose out on my tickets. Okay, so you can do that as well. So, what you would do is, the first thing you do is type in the name of the event, which would be, in this case, a doctor's appointment, right there in that first line. And I indicate this with a yellow arrow. Now, obviously, events like this only last for so long. I mean, who's ever heard of a person spending an entire day with a doctor? Now, I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm just saying that's very unlikely. Most of the time when you have a doctor's appointment, you're going to spend maybe about 45 minutes to an hour with a doctor. That's about it. Now, I grant you, if your condition's really serious, you might spend more time, but usually not. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to store into your smartphone the time the doctor's appointment starts, and you can also store in there what time you think it's going to end. Now, for some dumb reason, the people that invented this smartphone thought that more than one person would actually use the actual phone. So they decided to create a calendar that would be for you, and then you could create another calendar for whoever else is using your phone as well. So let's say you're married and both of you are using the same phone. I can't imagine why you would do that, but okay, let's say you are. So you as the husband can have a calendar for yourself, and then you can actually make another calendar for your wife, and her information can be stored in there as well. When do you want to be reminded of your appointment? That's another thing you can do. You can say, okay, at a certain time on a certain day, I want to be reminded of this appointment. You can actually store that information on your smartphone, and I show you exactly where to go to store that information. Okay? And exactly how that's done, you can learn that for yourself. But at least now you know you can actually, and this thing, and your smartphone will actually alert you and say, hey, you know what? It's time for you to remember that you have an appointment at so-and-so. Now, I guess for some of you, I would hate for this to ever happen, but let's face it, some people get cancer and they need to see their doctor every week. And if that being the case, you would want your phone to remind you of your weekly appointment to the doctor, especially if you're getting treated for cancer. You can actually set that up, and it will remind you every week that you have an appointment. Now, what about the location of your doctor? That could be important too, especially if you don't go there all the time. Now, I do, but, well, I don't go there. Boy. Let me back that up. I have been to my doctor several times in the past. Not recently, but I have been several times in the past, so I know exactly where my doctor is. Let's say you don't go to your doctor very often, okay? And so you might forget where he is. Well, you can store the location of the doctor inside your phone, okay? But if you've memorized the location, which I have, that's not a problem. Is there specific information you have to bring with you when you visit your doctor? A lot of times there is. You can actually store some of that information into your phone. Now, granted, if they need to see actual prescriptions and actual medical records or something, you may have to take those physically with you. But other information, like how much you weigh, or, well, they weigh you anyway, but that's not the point. Maybe you might want to make a list of medications that you have. You can type those into your smartphone, whatever. I don't know what you'd want to store in there, but you could. Alright? That's another feature you have with your calendar. Are you bringing someone with you to your doctor's appointment? Well, let's say you broke your foot. You can't drive. So you need somebody to actually take you to the doctor's appointment. And so you have a buddy that will actually take you. You can actually store that information into your smartphone. You can say, okay, I know who's going to take me to my appointment, and this is the person who's going to do that. You can actually store that as well. Now, it's more likely that you would use this feature if you are taking your buddy to a birthday party or an anniversary or something like that than actually traveling to a doctor's appointment, but still you can store that information if you wanted to. Alright, so all this information can actually be stored in your smartphone, and you now know which line does what. So, now for the most part, you do know how to use the calendar feature on your smartphone. In my next presentation, I will show all of you guys how to use the camera on your phone. Okay, you can actually take screenshots on your phone, and also you can actually take photos on your phone. And I'll show you how to do all of that, including how to make sure the photos get stored on a micro SD card instead of your internal memory. Because let me tell you something, you store enough photos in your internal memory, you're going to overstuff that thing. Your phone's going to slow down rapidly. Alright, I want to thank you very much for this particular presentation, for watching this particular presentation. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.